Yashvi. Hi Simi. Good evening Simi. Hanji Sanjana. So, okay. So guys, today the session is on speaking part 3. So today we'll be discussing part 3 of speaking module. Hello Ashan. Okay, that's good Sanjana. So basically what exactly is there in part 3 of speaking module? How can we expand our answers? What all connectors do we need to use in order to expand the answers? That's what we'll be discussing in today's sessions. Okay, so let's get started. Guys, you know about part 1, part 2 and part 3, I believe. The total whole speaking is covered usually in 11 to 14 minutes. The whole speaking is usually covered in 11 to 14 minutes. And what happens when it is covered in 11 to 14 minutes, we usually take care of part 3 के लिए. They have somewhere around 5 minutes for part 3 only. So 5 to 6 minutes are spent on part 3. So part 3 is actually very important. Whereas on part 2, 3 to 4 minutes are being spent. And part 1, remaining time. Okay, so when it comes to part 1, I have already explained in my previous sessions. In part 1, usually the examiner will be asking you basic questions. Okay, so questions like where are you basically from? Okay, what is your name? What do you do? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? About your parents, about your lifestyle, what do you like to travel by car or by bicycle? Where do you prefer spending enormous or a huge sum of money on? So they'll be asking you basic questions. Okay, so those questions can be about your personal as well as professional life. Okay, but when it comes to part 2, part 2 my basic questions are being asked like such only, and we have to answer in one complex sentence. That's actually more than enough. Now you'll be asking what exactly a complex sentence is. So when we are talking about complex sentence is a combination of 2 to 3 clauses, where there are 2 to 3 clauses. Okay, so that's a complex sentence. Good evening, Gurpreet. So that is definitely a complex sentence, and we use connectors in between. And what kind of connectors? What sort of? Because of, although, though, also, we'll be using various connectors. Okay, and for that I have a rule as well, that is Band's rule. Okay, now when it comes to part 1, we are answering in one complex sentence. Okay, that is more than enough. But in part 2, we are answering in 2 to 3 complex sentences, because here we need to expand our answers. So if your writing is good, you'll actually start speaking in a better manner as well. If your writing is good, you'll start speaking like that eventually. If this will not only, your writing module will not only help in your speaking, but also in overall communication as well. Okay, so what I do, what exactly do we need to do whenever we are preparing speaking? Okay, or whenever we are preparing for speaking module, whenever we are practicing speaking, we just need to take care of few things. and those few things are like practice, practice and practice. Okay, actually in speaking nothing else matters. Yeah, you really need to take care of the practice part. So just practice. The more you will practice, the better you become. Yeah, it's totally true. So it is totally equivalent to number of hours you are devoting to practice, the number of bands, like equivalent to number of bands you will be getting. So kind of, so depends on what time you devote. Okay, so basically you need to devote proper time. You need to make it a point that your native language has become English. You will have to speak in English. It will help you a lot. Eventually you will succeed for sure. Now this is part 1. Part 2 basically hota hai cue card, and whatever topic has been asked in the cue card, the questions will be related to that topic only. Okay, if they are asking you a question related to, let's say they have asked you a place where you went, uh, a place you visited with pleasant weather. Okay, a place with pleasant weather you visited, they are asking you a question like such. Okay, so when they are asking you this, what happens? Take a place with pleasant weather or pleasant climate. So I know they have asked you a question like such, so you can actually talk about some hill station, you can talk about Shimla, you can talk about Manali. So guys, they have asked you some topic related to your vacation, so they can actually ask you questions like, basically they can ask you questions related to environment, tourism, ways to promote tourism, okay. So littering, let's say उन्होंने एक issue ले लिया, ये litter, people litter here and there. Okay, so they must have taken this issue, so they'll be asking you detailed questions related to such. Okay, and if they have asked you about driving, let's say, अब जरूरी नहीं है कि they'll be asking you, वो क्या होता है, what happens, they might ask you 2 questions on environment, 2 on tourism, 1 on promoting tourism, and last on littering. So they'll ask you 5 to 6 questions in part 3. So for part 3, you should have energy left. Actually, in part 3, you really need to take care of certain things. You should have energy left. अगर आप part 3 में perform ही नहीं कर पाओगे, you'll not be able to actually score well. You'll have to speak a lot in part 3. So कोई भी अगर question आ जाता है when it comes to, let's say, what should travelers do whenever they visit? What should travelers do whenever they visit any hill station? So let's say a question like such has been asked. So what can your answer be? Okay, so what would your answer be? So tourists को क्या करना चाहिए whenever they are visiting? So tourists should not take it lightly. They really should take care of the environment the way they are taking care at their home place. Okay. Also, they should not litter here and there. They should take care of the environment in such a manner they are not disturbing the localites, not even the local climate. So you can actually expand your answer like such. You need to listen to the question carefully. What exactly you need to do whenever we have a question, you can actually take a pause of 4 to 5 seconds. Okay, so you can take a pause of 4 to 5 seconds. Maximum, it is maximum. Let's say the question has been asked and I'm like, more than enough. So what pause I have taken? Merely 3 seconds. So I'll advise you that only. So now what happens? What are you doing? You are actually taking time to think. Okay? Yes, let's say if we have a cue card related to environment, Gurpreet, so we can actually talk about a topic like such. We can talk about tourism, we can talk about such things. There is no problem at all. Good evening, Kumud. Good evening, Rakhi. Good evening, Gurpreet. Hi, Dev. Okay. So point is you need to expand your answer. अब expanding के लिए what can be done? If you have to expand the answer, what all can be done? You can actually tell advantages and disadvantages, but there would be things which do not have advantages. Let's say littering cake, no advantages at all, it is a problem. So we'll be discussing only disadvantages. We can quote one instant, we can actually give one example. The way I ask you to do in writing task 2, you can do the same in speaking as well. You can actually quote examples. If you have to expand the answer, you better quote examples. I remember I was in Shimla last year, and I actually saw a family of 10 to 15 members, and they were actually littering here and there. They were eating on every other street shop, and then they were littering here and there. They were not only harming the environment, they were not only harming the surroundings, but also disturbing the people over there. So that's what we noticed. And later on, a police official came. Somebody must have complained. A police official came, and he actually asked them not to do that, and he fined them as well. So point is, we can actually give example. Example से obviously मेरा answer expand हो जाएगा. I should not stop. My examiner should ask me to stop. Okay? That's what we need to do. We have to expand our answers like such. We have to expand answers in such a manner. Hello Sandeep, you got late. Even Kumud got late today. Mona Lisa, है ना? Okay, so अब देखो, these are the topics. This is the way we can actually expand answers. Let's say they're talking about environment, and they'll ask you a question related to, do you know what sustainable is? What is sustainable? Sustainable. Tell me, if they'll ask you a question, do you know anything about sustainable environment? What would you answer? I want answers from all of you. Actually, sustainable environment, what is it? How can we promote it? Think about it. In the meanwhile, I'll be telling you connectors for expanding the answers. Anybody? No one. Okay. Dekho. Now try to understand, guys, what happens here. I'll explain you that as well. But before coming to that part, I'll explain you this one. Okay, we are talking about connectors. Okay? So if they're asking you any topic, usually you'll have to expand your answers. And at times we get perplexed. Okay, we are confused, we are perplexed, we are in dilemma. What all connectors do we need to use? How can we start our answers? So with the connectors which can be used is, we can actually start our answer in my opinion, certainly, unfortunately. Okay, so the way we can actually use similar connectors, but some of the connectors are different, okay, from writing. So that's something we can actually start our answers with this. In my opinion, that's an interesting question. While, let me guess. So you're taking out time to think. Well, let me guess. Yes, it's definitely the topic which clicked me. So yeah, I remember the time when I actually met the person for the first time, and it was actually I met him in a gym. So you can expand your answer, you can tell your whole story. So that's about cue card, okay? But when it comes to a topic, when it comes to an answer in part 3, you're going to answer like also, moreover, add kar rahe ho. Whenever you are adding points, also, moreover, in addition, firstly, secondly, thirdly, let's say they've asked what are the benefits? What are the benefits of promoting tourism? So, primarily, it will boost the economy of any nation. Okay, primarily, it will tourism. Eventually, tourism always boosts the economy of every nation or state. It not only affecting the, it can boost the economy. So we are writing boosts the economy. Secondly, it is helping the localites with the business. Okay, so localites, and actually, especially people in hill station, most of the people in hill station are actually working mainly. They are mainly working during the peak season when the travelers are there. If I talk about Shimla, so there throughout the year people travel to Shimla, but this is the way localites are actually earning. They are actually earning their hard-earned money. You can actually expand your answer like such. What you are doing, you are expanding your answer like such. So, firstly, economy boost होगी. Secondly, life, ठीक है, localites को क्या benefit होगा? They'll benefit from business opportunities, job opportunities for localites. They need not to move, okay, need not to migrate for job. So we can actually expand. We are answering 3 types, okay. So need not to migrate for work. Unfortunately, many localites have to migrate for work, as they do not have job opportunities in their own hometown. So this will not only boost the economy, but also help the localites in getting the jobs, help the localites promoting business among localites. Okay, and last, Hamesha, whenever you are answering something, please make it a point that you're summing it up. Okay, so try to sum it up. गुड इवनिंग हरनीत, ठीक है, ट्राई टू सम इट अप, एंड में जरूर ऐड कर दो 10. सो it will actually expand your answer and it will help you. So it not only benefits the economy but also benefits the local people. So अब localites पहले लिखा था, local people लिख दिया, natives लिख दिया. That's what we can do. अब अभी तक I have explained you some things. So I would like to know, do you have any doubts? Okay. Hi Reena, you got really late, like only 10 minutes, yeah, 8 to 10 minutes are left now. Okay, so all clear? Now ask me the doubts. Firstly, ask me what problems do you face whenever you have to expand answers? What problems do you face? Expanding answers. Ideas में problem आती है. What exactly are the problems? Ideas. Okay. So guys, I'll recommend you some book. I'll actually suggest you to go through the speaking PDFs. Whatever PDFs you have, do not even bother if it's the previous one or the latest one. You just go through the PDFs. Read those PDFs regularly. You'll start getting ideas, and not even PDFs. You can start doing one thing. You can start reading essay books. Okay, I'll tell you how. Uh, I have to tell you sustainable environment. याद रखना. So, yes. How to get ideas? how to elaborate your answers? Okay, not an issue. Acha guys, before proceeding further, tomorrow we have a YouTube session at 7 o'clock. Okay, so that is 1 hour session, forum of discussion. We can discuss anything. Okay, any topic. I'll be taking 1 or 2 topics. We'll be discussing those topics. So 7 p.m. Unacademy YouTube channel only. Unacademy YouTube 7 p.m. ठीक है 7 p.m. Unacademy YouTube. So this session is of an hour tomorrow. Inform others as well. I'll inform in the class also at 8 o'clock. So the session is from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's the only reason I had to schedule. The session is from 7 to 8 p.m. For this reason, I have rescheduled the class. Tomorrow's class of 8 p.m. has been scheduled to 8:30 p.m. So we have 2 classes tomorrow. One plus class at 8:30 p.m. Okay, that's our reading class. And class 2 and other will be for speaking module. So instead of doing it differently, you can do it simultaneously, or you can do it all together in a single shot. That can be done. Okay. And as far as speaking is concerned, जैसे आप confuse हो जाते हो, ideas elaborate नहीं कर पाते, you will go through various books. You are going to read. When you will read, you will have ideas. It's about reading. The more you read, the better ideas you have. Okay. Now coming to this part, I was explaining you sustainable environment. To be frank to you, we can actually talk about sustainable environment. देखो, the environment which can actually go on for a long time, bearable, suitable, bearable. That is sustainable environment. Okay, that is sustainable environment. So what are we doing? We are actually focusing on when they'll be asking you about sustainable environment. So what exactly you know about sustainable environment? What is sustainable environment? So in my opinion, sustainable environment, an environment which is suitable for all the living creatures and non-living creatures on earth. So we can actually tell this. Yes, podcasts also help because they'll be talking about various. Even if you when you are listening, okay, when you are practicing listening module, you are hearing so many things. They talk about environment, they talk about personality, they talk about psychology. You are improving that time as well. It's about concentration. If you are giving you 100% in every single module, you'll eventually improve for sure. So start reading, and I'll tell you some topics. I'll suggest you to read on various topics. Okay? When it comes to speaking module, you should read on persons. Okay? Then vacation. अब vacation है तो places का भी हो जाएगा इसी में cover. Dream job. So some job. Hobby. ठीक है? Buildings. You can actually start like this. Environment. They can talk about your house as well. A skill. So वो hobbies में ही आ जाएगा skill भी. मतलब quite related to one topic will be related to other. So just start preparing this. Then you can actually talk about relationships. So let's say a question has been asked, how can you promote healthy relationship? Okay. So healthy relationship, in my opinion आप कह सकते हो, ठीक है, as far as my opinion is concerned, healthy relationship can only be cultivated, developed. Cultivated को we can call developed, cultivated as well. So healthy relationships can only be cultivated on the basis of trust and faith in any relationship. So one should be true to other. So let's say there is a group of 2 to 3 persons, and they are not being truthful. They are hiding one thing or the other from each other. Then that relationship would not sustain for a long time. Okay? So would not continue for a long time. For example, one of my friends, she started lying to me, and she didn't even tell me about her preparation and related to her wedding. She was actually seeing someone. She did not tell me anything, and on the final day or 10 days before her wedding, she told me. And that time I felt cheated. I felt betrayed. And that was the day when I stopped talking to her. So you can frame a story. Actually, start framing a story. Spice it up. Frame karo story. You'll not face any problem. Yes, that is also good. Point is, देखो, what time you have. If you really have time to listen to BBC News, if you have time to listen to various podcasts, nothing better than that. But if you do not have, then you can actually do smart planning, and you can listen to the listening audio properly. Okay, you can do speaking practice regularly. You can read essay books. That's what can be done. Yes. Okay. So is there any other doubt? Is there any other doubt related to speaking? All done? Anybody? Gurpreet, Ragbir, Navjot, do you have any doubt related to speaking module? कर सकते हैं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. आई एक्सप्लेन्ड अर्लियर एज वेल. 10 सो हमेशा कंक्लूड करो क्वेश्चन को. दैट्स अ गुड पार्ट. यूजुअली इट इज हेल्पिंग इन एक्सपैंडिंग द लेंथ, सो दैट यू कैन डू. It's just like if you'll prepare it like writing module, you'll not face any problem. The way you write your essay, just start speaking like that. You'll not face any problem. Okay? So guys, that's all for today. I'll see you at 8 o'clock now. My plus students, I'll see you at 8 o'clock. Yes, there are limited topics only. I'll explain you in my course. I'll explain those topics in my course or in tomorrow's YouTube session. Okay? So bye. Take care, everyone. The time is over now. We are not allowed to extend the YouTube session. That's why. It's not possible. The other session has already been planned. Okay, take care everyone. Bye.